Oh, and hello, Delaware County. It is September 6th. It is a Tuesday, and
It's a what?
It's a Tuesday.
Tuesday. I was going to say,
Tuesday,
man, did you
and
drop
it's a
your
Tuesday
accent
in
for
the
a second?
county. Yeah, I spent most of Labor Day trying to cover it up. All right, so we're Delco Live, as you know, and we have a legit interview tonight. This is with Victor Fiorillo. He is a senior reporter at Philadelphia Magazine. Al, are we doing the sponsors now? We're going to say that.
We'll get to them in a few minutes.
And Victor has written some important articles that has gone viral recently. I mean, a best-of list, other things that have affected this county. Victor, why don't you tell us about yourself?
Thank you for having me on the show. Next time, I'm going to put in my rider, no light fucking beer in the refrigerator.
Did you want Natty Heavy?
I mean, I don't know, light beer.
Maybe a Natty Daddy? Have you had one of those?
I have not.
I could tell because you don't have an ankle monitor on.
Yes, so I am the senior reporter and arts and entertainment editor at Philadelphia Magazine. I write about all kinds of things. One of my favorite things to write about is Delco, because the county is filled with so many characters and great stories.
How long have you been at Philly Magazine?
I've been there 20 years.
You are the senior. Like, are you like? Does that mean you are the senior? Or is there a bunch of seniors?
I am the senior editor.
You said 20 years.
20 years, unbelievably.
Good for you.
Not bad for a high school and college dropout.
We actually have an event coming up soon called "Are You Smarter Than a Community College Dropout?"
Nice. I did go to community college.
Was it DCQ?
It was Philly Community College, and then I I dropped out of high school, and it's kind of hard to get into Penn if you drop out of high school. So I went to community college for like one semester, but I had almost perfect SAT scores.
Sounds like a bunch of fascists to me.
So then Penn accepted me, and I was like, oh my God, I'm going to Penn. And then I went there for like 4 semesters and was like, fuck this sucks.
That's wild, man.
Oh God.
Trust me, there's no shame. Was it Lansdowne Alden?
I was living in Jersey back then, and my parents forced me to go to this Baptist Christian school. It was like really awful.
Oh, the ones where they like do the jazz hands while singing like
speaking in tongues, all kinds of crazy shit.
That's so much more fun than like the Irish shame they throw at the churches around here.
I got suspended from high school because the school was doing a mandatory trip to March on Washington for
anti-abortion.
Yes, and I just didn't want to go.
Yeah. You got to stay home now.
Yeah, I got to stay home for vacation. 5 days.
All right, so you're originally from New Jersey, it sounds like.
So I'm originally from Norristown. When we were 6, I moved to South Jersey. And then when I was 16 or so, moved to Philly. And I'm still here.
Are you in Delco right now?
Oh, right now.
Right now I'm in Delco. I mean, physically
right now you're currently.
But are you asking me where I live?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't want to like cause a shitstorm here and get lots of hate mail.
Oh, it's going to be coming either way.
Technically speaking, I live in Philadelphia, but I live so close to Delco that all the bars that I go to are in Delco, and they're about 5 minutes from my house.
Gotcha. I use the same argument, vice versa, to hit on hipster chicks in the city.
There you go.
Where I go, I'm like 2 blocks outside of West Philly. Like I'm on like 78th Street if you kept counting after 69th Street.
And how does that work out for you with the hipster chicks in Fishtown?
Oh, they usually just hate me to begin with.
Right.
And then they hate me a little bit more.
Well, the plaid doesn't help.
The plaid is great. This is the finest thing that Target sold in 2012.
That's not from 2012.
So you cover city life and also Delco specific stories, like you said. Does Philly get mad when you bring up Delco? because I know that sometimes they can, like around here, if we post anything, even if we go like Radnor, even if we post like Glen Mills, they will freak out and they will go, "That's barely even Delco. Why are you even covering that?"
Well, it's funny you mentioned that. I mean, I think when I write news stories about Delco, they're generally interesting to everybody because
Gotcha.
I'm not writing about like hyper local Delco stories on a daily basis the way that like the Delco newspaper would. But when it comes to our best of Philly list, it's amazing to me every year. People are like, "Why is this a best of Philly winner? It's not in Philly."
Yeah.
I'm like,
yeah.
people do cross over the border and go out to eat. And also, a lot of our subscribers live in Delco, live in Montgomery County, not so much in Bucks County or Chester, but the idea that Philly is limited to this very, defined geographic area with its borders is just kind of stupid to me.
Yeah.
I have lots of friends who live in Center City who travel over the border to meet friends for dinner elsewhere. So
Or if you live in Delaware County and you travel to Center City every day, like
For
I
work.
used to, where
there you go.
where there's certain things on here where I'm like, I've been there, it's great because I used to work right there. And vice versa. If you live in the city, sometimes you work in the suburbs to get transferred out
I
there.
feel like best of lists maybe like you're like an umpire, right? You're gonna half of the people are gonna hate you,
That's a great analogy.
and
I've
half of
never
the
even
people
thought about that.
and half of the people are gonna like you. So you're gonna get the hate now, no matter what.
And I think when you
Yeah.
do a best of anytime, you automatically assume you're gonna get something. You're gonna get there's no way everybody's gonna go,
Oh, we'll
this
get
is
into
the best
that.
list I've ever heard in my life, and nobody's gonna have a critique on it.
We'll get
Yeah,
into
if
that.
everybody agreed with best of, or frankly anything I wrote, I'd be super bored.
I was gonna say, do you like what was that? It's the meme you see like the you'll know this one as the Star Wars meme, like yes, embrace the dark side. Like,
Yeah.
you can sit there I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for this.
Absolutely.
It's like when ESPN is notorious for putting out top 10 lists and throwing in one that is just so absurd that the comments blow
Right.
just from you getting mad. It'll be like the top 5 quarterbacks to never win a Super Bowl. It'll be like Dan Marino, Jim Kelly, and then for randomly they'll throw in like Dak Prescott. Like why? Why him? Like he's not on par with the other 4.
Yeah, people are very territorial around here.
That's an understatement. And I mean that's like Philly has Philly's back, but in Delco it's just like Upper Darby will not have Havertown's back, and like vice versa. So you don't just cover city life and Delco stuff. You cover full-fledged national hot topics like such as some of your recent articles were about purchasing gun permits and the ease of it, abortion battles in the court, and political corruption. Which ones get more heat? The like actual serious stories about guns, politics, and abortion. Do those get more heat than literally when you say what the best cheesesteak is?
Nothing gets more heat than when you say what the best cheesesteak
Exactly.
is. Nothing.
Do you get like
It's
crazies
so
that'll
scary true though.
Do you get like crazies that write in about like the serious stuff?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
I mean, I definitely get crazies and not crazies that write about the serious stuff. And I am proud to say, I know a lot of people in the media don't do this. I take the time to respond to anybody who writes to me, and I've had some really interesting conversations with people who send me emails like, "You're a fucking liberal ass twad, whatever, blah 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 blah, and here's why I think
So you've been talking to my grandmother.
and I'll email them back saying, thank you for reaching out. I'm sorry you feel that way. And I'll say a few things to them, and they're just shocked that I even respond to them.
It was a very nice email you sent back to me when I said that.
Nice. I knew it was you.
Yeah,
The plaid gave you away.
exactly.
Fucking
This,
plaid.
this, is
Flaggate.
this is my hipster camo.
So he blends in.
All right, speaking of that, you're the
Yeah, I can sneak up on all the homeless chicks.
you mean dinner?
Jesus.
You said you were the senior reporter for the arts and media department.
I'm the senior reporter for the magazine, and I'm
Oh.
the arts and entertainment editor.
All right,
I figured you would have had this figured out by now, but that's okay.
I take terrible notes.
Too many
That's
light
your-
beers for you.
That's your fault for figuring
you
that.
put faith in me. That's
Yeah.
your fault.
Right.
One of your recent articles was about Roger Waters playing at Philly. Roger Waters
Yeah.
and Pink Floyd. So it was dated. August 6th. He played here on the 5th and 6th.
Mhm.
It's written very vaguely. Did you go to one of the shows?
Oh, I was at the show on the 5th.
On the 5th, okay.
Yeah.
Did you like write it beforehand and like just like based off the previous shows?
No. I mean, what we do a lot of times in these situations is we pre-write certain things that can be pre-written. I mean, that's just good sense to do that.
Definitely.
But obviously, I went to the show, and a lot of it contains my reflections from the show itself. Yeah.
Did you enjoy it?
I did enjoy it. I mean, I'm a huge Pink Floyd fan. I thought it was, as with any Pink Floyd show, like even if you hate the politics or he plays one too many of his solo songs from Radio Chaos or whatever, I couldn't name one of them unless I had to. There you go. Thank you for that.
But
don't thank him for that.
But the production is just amazing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. I love the music, but like that with the
It's a whole
lasers
spectacle.
and
It's a spectacle.
It's a spectacle.
Did you see him in 2017 when he came by?
Was that the wall?
Oh,
show?
you brought it up. It was
Yeah.
it was the one where they did animals and they had the Donald Trump flying pig.
Oh,
You
right.
brought that up, yeah.
Yeah, I did. I went to that show, and I also went to the wall show at Citizens Bank Park.
Yeah.
The most amazing thing to me about that show is that I had tickets like right down in front center that the tour gave me.
Yeah.
My buddy had tickets in the very tippy top level of the stadium, like the last seats. And I don't really like heights, but my thought was after intermission, I wanted to go sit up there and see what it was like from up there.
Yeah.
Sound was amazing, even up there. And you could even get like a better visual of it because it was such a large show. So I just broke something. And then I did the same, or I didn't do the same thing, but I talked to somebody at the Wells Fargo show that you're referencing that just passed, and who said that it was amazing from up there too. But that's unusual for the Wells Fargo Center. I mean, the sound there is normally total shit.
I had tickets for the 5th, had to give them up, and in retribution, because I heard that they were that good on 5th and 6th. I went down to DC to see them 2 weeks later. Sat in, I'm not joking, I say the very last row. Like the chair was built into the 400th wall, and it was amazing. It sounded great.
Do you do Camden too? Are you going to do Pearl Jam? Or just things down in Philly?
I basically will review a show if it's big enough, and if frankly, if I'm interested in going. Like, I mean, one of the nice things about my job is that I can kind of do whatever I want to do. So unlike some, let's say, critics that work for certain newspapers, nobody's saying, "Hey, go review this show or that show." So the most hate mail I've ever received for a show was Madonna at the Met, which happened, I think, right before COVID. Yeah.
And it was fucking $250, and I couldn't get a ticket.
Yeah, I mean, that was a cheap ticket. And man, I got so much hate for that one.
Did you give a poo-poo review to it?
I think the title, what's the Madonna song? Beautiful Stranger?
The
title of the review was A Beautiful Failure. Because it was really beautiful, but it just didn't work.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. You also recently interviewed Kevin Bacon.
I did.
How did that go? And who was the biggest celebrity you've ever made contact with?
Oh, that's a good question. So the Kevin Bacon interview, I thought it went pretty well. I mean, the hardest thing about doing these interviews is dealing with the fucking idiot PR people who represent these stars.
Yep.
I mean, he's a legitimate star, and other people that I've made contact with that have been a pain in the ass to deal with in terms of PR people. The biggest one is Sylvester Stallone. I mean, his PR agent is just
2 in a row.
That's interesting.
I have to be careful what I say.
No, we did a pre-taped interview. We did a pre-tape show right before this, and they were all saying how hard it is to talk to Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah,
I think you brought this up in Preston Steve too.
Yeah, I mean, I did an oral history of Rocky, which turned out really well, and I did get Stallone very briefly. And after I got Stallone, I tried to get, I'm spacing, who played Drago?
Dolph Lundgren.
Dolph Lundgren. So I sent an email to Dolph's publicist and said, hey, I'm doing this. It's a cool project. I talked to Stallone. We had a great interview. And like maybe 30 minutes later, I get an email from Stallone's publicist saying, please do not go around telling other people that you had a lot of time with Stallone or something ridiculous like that.
Wow.
It's such a weird
It's
world.
7 minutes or less with Stallone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
But-
all you get.
But each month I lead off the magazine with an interview with somebody interesting who's either currently in Philly or formerly from Philly. So that was Kevin Bacon. At the start of this year, I got a great scoop. I had Quinta Brunson from Abbott Elementary.
Yes.
She's the star and creator of the show. Before anybody else had her, that was great. But that was also, and like she wasn't even there yet. The show didn't even come out
Is
yet.
she from Philly? I know it takes
Oh, yeah.
place in Philly.
Oh no,
Okay,
she's
yeah,
from
makes sense.
Philly.
Do
Yeah.
you like, so when you say you get to pick and choose, do you do like just, hey, I want to reach out to that person? Do you have somebody that has like can do kind of legwork that reaches out, or do you have to do like reach out to these people yourself? Reach out to
I think I do I do all the reaching out unless there's a reason I shouldn't or that somebody
Somebody
else
has a connection.
would be better for it. But I'm well seasoned at how to reach out to these people and I don't have a secretary if that's what you're asking.
intern, maybe, I don't know.
Real
Yeah,
quick.
I do have interns, but when I
There you
reach out
go.
to Sylvester Stallone,
You're not doing
I make
an
the phone
intern?
call. Yeah,
Yeah.
no offense to the intern.
Mr. Stallone.
And real quick, speaking of well seasoned, don't forget Fat Cal Jerky. Utterly perfect
tie-in.
jerky.
Finally, we did it.
Yes.
5 years on the air. We get a good tie-in.
There we go. FatCowJerky.com. Find them on Facebook, Instagram, all these amazing flavors. And the new canine cuts are out. So not just you, but your favorite dog will get some treats as well. And for all you clowns out there, get yourself in trouble, criminal law. David R. Cherry, the Cherry Firm, cherryinjurylaw.com. Also, if you get hurt at work, motor vehicle, personal injury, 610-565-0300. Tell David R. Cherry that Delco Live sent you. And don't forget the most Delco bar, which we'll be talking about Delco bar shortly. Dolan's Bar, 24 East Sellers Avenue, Ridley Park. The home of many great things at any time. If you
Don't take Sellers Ave to get there, though. The bridge is shut down.
yeah, right. But just for an instance, if you want to watch that horrible last Eagles preseason game against Miami, it was terrible. But they had Wolf Superior sandwiches there and Hollis Thomas. So only Dolan's can make that kind of crap game fun again. So
Yeah.
there you go.
Tank will be hanging out probably throughout the course of the year there.
Yep.
You know what I
Close to
say? I say fuck John Morgan. Hire David Cherry for all your personal injury needs.
I saw that.
I don't know David Cherry, but I definitely like him more than John
Pop
Morgan.
your cherry and avoid a jury.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
God, fucking
We're gonna
that
have
is
to
the best.
run.
That's better than
We'll have to run
John
that one
Morgan.
by
We're gonna
him.
have to run that by his people.
Wow.
Speaking of criminal law,
Yeah.
take that one.
All right. So, I mean, the main thing that made us want to reach out to you was the interview on Preston Steve recently. It was on August 18th. You went through some of the establishments, your opinions of Delco.
They pay for my Uber, by the way. I'm
That's
just
so
saying.
Good to know.
Ooh.
WHYY didn't even we paid extra to park for WHYY.
Can David Cherry pay for my Uber or what?
Yeah, we'll take care of you on the way.
Thanks,
I'm good. Don't worry about it. The natty light is good enough, I guess. Now,
Yeah.
if you did have some of that amazing jerky, might sweeten. the deal.
Well, we'll have to get Ron on top of that. We haven't got any news since we just literally moved in here, so all that stuff got put away.
Gotcha.
Thanks, David Archerry. I don't need Ubers anymore. I got my license back.
That's right.
Good one.
So President Steve, by
Is
the
that
way,
real or?
No,
No,
God,
no,
okay.
not yet.
They would never let
Close.
those license
Not
back.
yet.
Close.
Weird thing that this is not even scripted. We were just looking. For some reason, that's the only day that President Steve does not offer like the rebroadcast of when we were looking it up on social media. Do you have any idea why? Can I take a guess? If
Is
you
that
do?
true?
Yeah. 818 is the only one missing. And I was thinking a couple things. I was thinking maybe a
Yes.
copyright infringement with some of the clips they use or whatever.
Okay.
Maybe a libel with some of the stories they told. The other thing I was thinking, I'm like, you were talking about a bunch of restaurants. Maybe what if Steven Starr is one of their sponsors and you're like praising their enemies?
Yeah, you know what? I mean, that's an interesting show for me to go on because I really don't have restrictions of like who I can and can't write about. And when I go on that show, it's like I get it. They're massively corporately sponsored,
Yeah.
and sometimes depending on what I'm going on to talk about, we're not going to talk about certain things. They don't even really need to tell me that. I
Yeah.
just get it. It's possible that I said something on that show. I didn't realize it wasn't available on the podcast. It certainly was available on the podcast.
Okay. Yeah. We only found it out last night. And
But I don't know what would have happened to it or why. I don't remember who else was on the show that day. I mean, I didn't say anything libelous.
No.
And I don't think I said anything about any of their sponsors.
Is that like one of the hardest parts though? Like just towing that line, trying to be true to yourself, but also at the same time not to piss off everybody else.
Yeah,
We're
I
trying to
mean,
listen or read your article or whatever it is that you're doing at the time.
again, at Philly Mag, I get to do what I want more or less. So I love going on Preston and Steve. I love going on, the morning show on
Delco
Fox
Live.
29, which I do
I
sometimes.
love going on
Delco Live,
Live.
but you guys don't have these restrictions. The point is, we don't even really discuss it normally. I just know, like,
Yeah. Here's
Like,
a list of our sponsors. Stay away.
Can I
you
say,
don't-
can I say
listen, when you
earlier?
go on Preston and Steve, you don't talk shit on Dunkin' Donuts.
Right,
Because
right.
they're all literally holding
Right.
Dunkin' Donuts
Yeah.
cups.
Yeah.
Earlier on in your career, did you have to be shown that? Like, did you ever kind of go on like maybe your first like interview and have an incident where you spoke your mind about something? They're like, oh,
I've definitely run afoul of people before, and one of our biggest advertisers is Steven Starr, right? And we've
I just
certainly.
randomly guessed. I thought that you had said something against one of. I thought they were with Preston Steve.
Oh,
Yeah, I just
yeah.
randomly guessed. Yeah, I didn't know that.
And one time I wrote an article that was about restaurant inspections in Philadelphia, and I filed a request with the city to get this a list of like all the serious infractions over the previous like year, let's say. And I was kind of shocked because like Steven Starr had a bunch of bad ones
Like
at
really
this
bad ones.
at one restaurant. And I ran the article, and the next day I was driving to Pittsburgh with my wife and kids, and my cell phone rings, and it's Steven Starr, who's like,
He's real.
"What the fuck?" Yeah,
Steven
yeah.
Starr's real.
He is real.
Is that his real name?
It is. And
doubt it.
it turns out, and this, I mean, listen, we can place blame,
It's like finding out
whatever.
Chuck E. Cheese
I
is real.
dropped the ball on one level, but the city gave me a spreadsheet and they sorted it wrong before they sent it to me. So the violations that were attributed to whatever Steven Starr restaurant it was
Oh.
It
were
was backwards.
actually to a different restaurant.
no.
And I mean, I started out at Philly Mag as a fact checker, so I'm like super
Yeah, really embarrassed.
super careful.
Yeah.
But when you request records from the city and they give them to you,
You're
you're kind of
assuming it-
like, okay, these are the records.
legit,
Yeah.
well kept.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I'm going to have
Brutal.
to reach out to our Delco friend Casey Boy
Yeah,
to find out why they have censored me on Preston and Steve's podcast.
because your interview, like, it ran from like right when I was driving to work, like 8:50 to like 9:30. It was
Actually
flowed.
a 2-hour, 2-minute marker because we wanted to go like, yeah, we do our research. We actually not as dumb as we look, just a little slightly less dumber. And we're trying to listen to them. Like, okay, I went on the website, trying to listen right from PrestonSteve.com. Didn't work. I'm like, all right, well, I'll just go on Apple on my phone, grab the podcast. It was August 18th. August 17th was there. August 19th was there. Not there. I'm like, let me check Spotify. Not there. I'm
Wow.
like, man, he
your
must have really
interview-
blew that interview.
It was like
Interesting.
really good and it flowed really well. And the greatest thing that we were so happy about is one of our things got brought up.
Yeah.
Where Casey Boy brought up our March Madness bracket at Delco Towns.
Oh, right. I
We were
remember
so
that.
happy. I
Yeah.
literally was sitting in my car with my Monster Energy drink, and I went, "Yeah!"
Win.
Let's cause an accident on Route 1.
Win, car accident, call David
Yeah.
Archerry. Get him on speed dial.
I got a guy. I got a guy.
I assume, like, I might have missed the first like 2 minutes of the interview. You were called in, I assume, to mostly speak about the best of Philly.
Best and worst of Philly. Yes.
The worst is more entertaining than the best.
Yeah.
Because the best, there's a lot. I actually went on the website where if you type in the best of Philly,
Mhm.
it gives you a search engine to be like, what exactly are you looking
Right.
for? There's so many.
Yeah, I think we had 252 winners this
Yeah.
year in Best of Philly.
Oh, wow.
But
Yeah.
4, according to Delco Today, is that their name? They broke it down. They
The
said
hell
that
is that?
it's
Today.del. It's
today.delco.
yeah.
They're a pretty good source if you're looking for something in Delco. They're more of a reactive force, like
Mhm.
kind of like we are, where it's like it has to happen for us to report on it. But
Is that .net?
it's not something I forget. I only
It's
know
not
they-
org.
They're great, and I love them.
I'm just kidding.
And we steal from them all the time. They brought up that there was four things that won from Delco.
Yes.
And-
Delco.
Or restaurants, I
Delco.today.
think.
I think it was four restaurants,
Right.
and or sandwiches or whatever.
Yeah.
And you talked about, I believe, most of them, if not all of them.
Mhm.
And
I'm sure they all came from me. because I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure none of my colleagues drive to Delco.
Sure.
It's 4 minutes away from me. You
Yeah.
know,
So
for them,
how
they have to get in their fancy limousines and
right? That's actually my
Right.
get
question.
bodyguards.
Yeah.
And,
Is out of the 252, how involved are you in the total listing?
So we take Best of Philly very seriously. I mean, we work on it throughout the year. So, for instance, it came out in August. I've been doing things since August. Going out to restaurants, different experiences, and I have a little notebook. Like, yes, actually, a physical notebook, not
That's
my
cool.
phone, where I write things down, like just to remind myself next year.
He's the Ray Diddy of Philly magazine.
Yes,
Ain't no shame in it.
and so what was your question again?
So how, like, out of the 252, how
Yeah.
involved are you? directly?
Yeah. So we have so there are editors of Best of Philly. I'm not one of them. I edit one section, which is fun and games, and then you have top editors, but I contribute a lot to the food section, and my sort of specialty, I guess, with the food section is kind of finding the non-obvious stuff.
Yeah.
Like I like to find things in the strip mall, like great soup dumplings in some random strip mall in the middle of Northeast Philadelphia.
Good.
That's what I like, because
Good.
everybody else is writing about. Not everybody. I shouldn't say that. People do good work, but I just tend to go to those kinds of.
They're trying to take the easy way out. They're taking the fastballs. You're trying to hit a curveball here and there.
Yeah.
The hidden gems. You're looking for the
Well,
hidden
that-
gems.
And I
man.
also like to recognize the suburbs, which get
Yeah.
underrepresented a lot of times in Philly media.
That was one thing. I mean, I can personally think of Anthony Bourdain, his one show, spotlighted donkeys in Camden,
Right.
as a great cheesesteak place. And another show that got underrated, was his show after Parts Unknown or whatever, Destination Unknown, I forget where it was. He came back to Philly, and one of his places was he went to a random Chinese place in like Ben Salem,
Oh.
like off the beaten path, and it's just like interesting.
Right.
Like it wasn't just sticking on Chestnut and Walnut Street.
Well, and I think the way that he does that, which is kind of the way that I write about restaurants and other things, is that like there's no doubt that Anthony Bourdain knows people
Yeah.
in Philly. We know he knows Mark Petrie and other people like that, but he definitely reaches out to people like, hey, like where's the cool spot in some random strip mall that I should go to? And so that's kind of what I do also. Like it's not like I drive all over the 5-county
Yeah.
region being like, oh, that place looks shitty. I'm gonna go over there and find great food. So, naturally I have people that I go to, and also I've been doing this for 20 years. So whether it's writing about, restaurants or crime or politics or, crazy shit going on in neighborhoods, people know me and they know what kind of stuff I write about. So they come to me.
Yeah, you got your sources after compiled, probably, right?
Right,
Yeah, I mean,
sure.
there's this stuff.
All right.
Yeah.
So the 4 places in Delco, which I assume were all you, and you did give an in-depth explanation to on the site and on Preston Steve, was the sea brisket sandwich from Wilson Secret Sauce.
Delicious sandwich. I think I gave it best surf and turf
You
on
did.
a roll or something like that.
That's amazing.
They were our sponsor for the Delco Masters we just did, which is a putt-putt tournament that we treat like it's the PGA Masters.
Mm.
You got to wear, a full official golf attire, and then we just go.
That's where you got
down
the
to
shirt
Delco
from, by the way.
Cup.
Nice.
They are great. They are some of the best barbecue I've ever had, and I didn't even know that the sea brisket existed, and I'm mad at myself.
Yeah, well, there you go. I'm glad Best of Philly could be helpful to you.
I'm also glad I had to pick up a tuxedo right next door to it tomorrow.
Nice.
Eat the sandwich first, bro, before you get
Yeah.
the tuxedo.
It's gonna be stretching.
Listen, you wouldn't know Holbrook's shirt without a barbecue sauce. sitting
That's
on
true.
it.
I know you boys like them sloppy.
Well, that's a funny tie-in because the second one is called the Lunch Lady Sloppy Joe from the Marple Public House.
When was the last time you were at a restaurant and saw a sloppy Joe on the menu?
One time, and I will tell you, it was one of the top 10 best foods I ever had. Have you ever been to the Royal Tavern?
Oh, yeah, sure.
They had the vegan sloppy joes, not even vegan, but instead of meat, they make it with like chopped up jalapenos and seitan. And all
Oh,
that
nice.
shit. Oh my
Yes,
goodness.
my daughter's vegan. I've been learning all about these,
It's chili.
all about these
Yeah.
foods.
It's
That
chili on a roll.
she tells me I won't notice the difference.
So Lunch Lady Sloppy Joe, that was just one. It didn't have a category. It was one of your.
I think it was best nostalgia food.
Okay.
Like going back to the idea of like when you were in the cafeteria in
Yes.
school and you got a shitty sloppy Joe.
Yeah.
And like here's Marple Public House. I saw it on the menu one night and I was like, sloppy Joe? But I was like,
Like
I am
ordering meatloaf from a
intrigued. Yeah.
restaurant too. Like meatloaf, sure. I
Yeah,
guess,
yeah. But I
You-
was intrigued. I tried it and it was amazing.
one you threw in best food hall, which I didn't actually know what that was. It was this you Vittles Food Hall in Chester?
Oh, actually, not me.
Okay,
what's a food hall?
I think
What
it's
clarify or
it's
classify
ki-
something?
My understanding is it's something along the lines of like a buffet
Okay,
where
you
it'll
have
be
me
like-
intrigued.
It's
Yeah.
a food.
You had me up at
Listen,
play.
listen. It's a food court.
Okay, food
Just
court.
a fancy name for a food
Oh.
court.
Is that what
Literally.
I feel like food court sounds
Okay.
fancier than food hall.
Because the way they
Yeah.
I feel like a slop hall or
Food
something.
hall is like very hipster terminology.
gotcha.
That's why Holberg likes
Because
it.
the description of it was find everything from seafood to diner style comfort and soul food. That's I don't know. I've never been there. I've never heard of it.
I call my mouth my food hole sometimes.
And then my personal favorite, which you talked about on Preston Steve, and I have my this is the story of my emotions when you said it. Crisp chicken in Lansdowne.
Yeah, amazing.
Is it crisp and chicken?
I live across the street, across that parking lot. from
That
there.
is not good for your diet, my friend.
It is not. I only order it twice a week now.
Nice.
And on Preston Steve, you
hilarious.
stated that they make handmade Chick-fil-A. And at first I went, that's ridiculous. I'm like, because I always get the Delco. You ever had the Delco?
I'm not sure that I have.
So it's on a pretzel roll
Oh no, I don't like pretzel rolls.
with Dijon, and then the other person I go with usually gets the Korean, which is like cucumbers and like all this fancy stuff. Then I looked at the rest of the menu and I said, holy shit, it is literally homemade Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's amazing. It's a lot of the menu. I guess in my write up, I didn't acknowledge they had all those other amazing.
Oh no, they
things.
only sell 4 things.
But to me, it was like, I went there and I was eating the food and I was like, this is like Chick-fil-A but better.
It's
and
really
locally
good.
owned and operated.
And
By the
open
way-
on Sundays.
And
Yeah.
not to plug
Yes.
them just like erroneous, like just like randomly. It's really affordable.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
2
yeah.
sandwiches and their
I've
waffle
noticed that
fries are only
myself.
like $14.
Because I had to Uber Eats them the first time I had to do it.
And that's with a markup.
And I'm like, I'll sit there like, these prices don't seem, because usually even like just get a basic cheeseburger for my
Yeah.
kid. Like you said Chick-fil-A, right? I ordered Chick-fil-A when me and the wife were going out. The kids wanted Chick-fil-A. Like, all right, I'll Uber Eats it. My older son's watching the kids. I put it through, put the 18% tip in. I looked down at my thing, $98. I'm like, the hell did I just buy? Like, are you kidding me? Just because I didn't drive up the 12 minutes up Balmer Pike to get it?
That's
I guess
right.
not. Yeah,
Right.
That's
It
how
should
they
be.
get you.
The closer you are, the more money it should be.
That's why
Is that why it sounds like
usually
this?
go with it.
Is that why it sounds like this when I tie my shoes?
And Chris was like a weird one because it's like they open right during the pandemic, like whatever. And it was like when chicken was at its utmost raw price, like it was the highest, and they still found a way
There's
to
a
keep
lot
it.
of chicken places
They
popping
found a
up.
way to keep it going,
Mhm.
and you know what it is? They don't sell wings. It's literally just like, dude, it's so good. It's so good. I don't know what they do.
I have good news for you and I have bad news for you.
Uh-oh.
Don't say
The
it's
good
delicious.
news is
They
that
put stairs in.
No, the bad news is that I really have to fucking pee.
Okay.
The good news is that I can hang out a little bit longer.
Hell yeah. All right,
if
good.
that's cool with you.
Yeah.
So let's call it like
Go
15
pee.
more.
Go pee out the venom because all we've got left is the controversies
There you go.
and the worst of.
Where's up?
So we got sponsors.
Yeah, real quick, guys. Remember, this show is brought to you by FatCalJerky.com. Check them out. Facebook, Instagram, jalapeno garlic, honey habanero, black pepper garlic, and so many other flavors coming out. Spicy Original is one of our favorites.
Oh my
and
god,
also,
it's the best.
yeah, and also one of the canine cuts for your favorite four-legged friend. Check it out. FatCalJerky.com and get your Fat Cal Jerky now. Don't forget David R. Cherry for your workers' comp, motor vehicle, personal injury, criminal law. He's got you covered. CherryInjuryLaw.com, 610-565-0300. And Dolan's Bar, 24 East Sellers Avenue, Ridley Park, the most Delco bar. And we don't just say that because they're a sponsor. We love going there. There's always something fun going on there. And guys, don't forget, follow us on all our social media, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. We're on TikTok now.
Oh my god.
And if you're like, I'm not a social media guy, go to DelcoLive.com. All the shows are on there, plus so much more.
Plus YouTube. Let's go to that audience.
I just said that.
You did.
I
didn't
did.
you? Sorry, I was reading.
Oh, is that why I smell burning?
All right. Jesus. All right.
Nobody's mentioned my Delco swag that I'm already wearing.
You are wearing what's the hat?
The hat is
Land.
Delco
Oh, we'll talk about that.
Land.
We'll talk about that.
Oh,
then
the
Clam
shirt,
Tavern.
the shirt that hits home to me.
Is that a work shirt for the Clam Tavern?
That's
No.
that's what the
Oh.
shirt he sells. That's what Tony the Clam sells.
So my son works at the Clam Tavern.
No,
Okay.
I go there like once a week.
And I texted Tony, the owner, this afternoon when I was dropping him off. It was like, dude, I have 2 Delco t-shirts, but they're all in the laundry. Do you have a shirt for me? He's like, it'll
Do
be
you
behind the bar.
Do you like take it off his back now, in Tony?
So we just tripled your Delco shirts. Then.
Yeah.
Excellent,
Oh, there's plenty
excellent.
more.
But it's
Excellent.
nice, yeah. I don't have any golf
that's
shirts.
And
Really?
there is a hidden gem, by the way, in Delco. It's in because
Al
I
was talking.
live on that street. The Broadway Bar and Grill, which is also owned, and the Clam Tavern, right? They're like literally across the street from each other. You can spit from one doorstep to the other. I've done it. And it is
I puked from one.
yeah,
doorstep
you've
to the
got. I
other.
worked there when it was the original alums back
Yeah.
in the day. But those two are owned by Tony the Clam, and the food is
Tony the Clam.
amazing.
Mm.
It is amazing.
Yeah.
Do you want more people to know about it? Because that's the Phillips effect for me.
I
Like, every time, and
people already know. People
Philly-
come from all over the
Philly
place. there.
Magazine. I hope you never get them number one, even if they are number one. Phillips cheesesteaks. Every time they're not on a top 10 list, I'm like, thank God, because then the line won't be there, and they can make better cheesesteaks.
But the Broadway is awesome too. I mean, the Clam has a
Oh,
very
yeah.
special
Well, they'll also
place in my heart, but the Broadway is also
see
awesome.
what Broadway's more. He'll tell you. Tony will tell you it's more a comfort food. But if you wanted something off the Clam menu and they were like kind of busy, he'll go get it for you. He'll
What
make
a
it right
hero.
there for you. That's
What
what
a
makes him
hero.
great.
All right, so I mean, you can't be a journalist in this area, especially writing your own opinions on things without getting a little bit of hot water, getting some heat from the masses.
hot water.
So we're gonna go through 4 controversies. By the way, I've been making fun of an Irish accent so much recently. I almost called it controversies. And this
Is that how they say it?
and this is aluminium, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and a zebra is a zebra.
I only play poker with Irish guys, and I hear a lot of words I can't say right now.
Just let you know. Why don't you just tell them that a zebra never changes its stripes?
Zebra.
All right, so we've got 4 that we've seen. I mean, we've seen your name before. We've seen it pop up. You're very active in the community pages, just like us, which is very great. It's a great way to find sources. So one of them was you told us about it, but either way, when I was doing the research, I found it. A recent article about how numerous Delco parking meters are registering pennies as quarters caused some uproar. Who's actually mad about that article?
So I published that article as a kind of lighthearted. I mean, if you read the article, it was a fun article. It was kind of like, hey, we're sticking it to the man.
Yeah,
All I can say is that certain government officials were very, very upset about that article.
like towns or like higher than town level.
No, like town level. And we got some like very sternly worded messages about
Maybe
that.
they should be more efficient at their job.
Yeah, well, you could say that for sure.
So
It kind of blew up in our face in a way that we did not expect it to.
really,
Because again, it was like a light, fun story.
yeah.
And
But-
does that like actually make you feel better when you get those kind of officials upset over something like you said comes like at first like Holbrook like well, who cares? You're getting it for cheaper. Now the people who are making money off of coin meters is beyond me. And like they really sent you like I would look at that stern letter. I would actually post it up on our wall.
Right.
That'd be framed up on our wall with all the ones from the state
Like the
that
Wendy's
made Delco
tax
Day a holiday.
issue.
Like what we have here. I would do that. Like I'm like, oh please, yes. The
Yeah.
Wendy's tax. Like
The Wendy's tax.
when the Wendy's tax, we were the first ones to break the news. It gave me a reason to get a bacon cheeseburger. Let's just be honest with it.
Al,
Yeah.
2 double bacon
Two double-
cheeseburgers.
Yeah,
at
because
11
we had to
p.m. at
check if
night.
it was 2 different Wendy's. But yeah, no, I mean, do you not get like, yeah, bring it again? I asked you before, like, bring like what
Sure.
what can they say to you? Like, can they get you fired? Is there anything in there that could have got you in trouble?
No, I didn't do anything wrong. And everybody at the magazine would agree with me on
Yeah.
that. But sometimes you write things and people take them a certain way or to preserve their jobs or reputations.
Yeah.
They turn things around in a light that it's hard to defend yourself against.
Gotcha.
And I think if I said more than that, it would get into a topic that you told me you don't discuss on the show,
Understood.
which
Yeah.
is racism.
Yeah.
Oh.
Wow.
So
Oh, I was
if,
thinking politics. Oh.
I also in politics. Yeah.
Ooh.
so if you can read that article and you as a reasonable person can find any racist
First
intent
part,
I
I
did
never said
not.
I
or
was
anything
reasonable.
else in that.
my race car did not go off at
Yeah,
all
that was
reading in the article.
I'll be honest with you. That's the last place my
Yeah.
brain was going
I
on
would have
this.
thought religion before that.
I would have been like, "Oh, he
Wow.
touched me." Funny would have even come up before way
Yeah.
before racism.
I would have thought my masturbation habits would come up before that. Wow.
Well, we brought them up numerous times.
Yeah,
and you need to stop.
I'm so sick of these interventions.
Yeah, I'll say that
Racism.
like last week we spent like 3 of us spent an entire day trying to deal with the fire that was started.
Wow. Okay.
It just feels like a complete left field type situation.
Because the damn parking meters take pennies. Wow.
I think again that somebody was trying to get themselves out of a jam because
Yeah.
their higher ups found out
And they,
this
and,
guy-
they pull,
Gotcha.
and they pull
They
the
pull the
race
race
card.
card.
They literally pull the
Wow.
race card.
Oh my
Wow.
god! I'm actually fighting a parking ticket against Ridley Park. For it, it's the most ridiculous thing I'll ever do, and I will probably end up in contempt of court for it. So now you're telling me I get to yell that they're racist too during this trial?
You do.
You do.
Yes, it's all over parking meter too.
The whole new world,
I
brother.
wish. Oh my god!
I wish I
stop
knew I
putting
had more
Aladdin.
pennies then that this would work with.
So, okay, so yeah, people actually got me. Can you name the towns?
I think we should move on to
Okay.
the next topic. Yeah. I'm
Okay.
trying to be a little bit sensitive
Okay,
to
so
the situation.
one more question on that, and feel free to tiptoe around as much as you want. How did you discover that that was a thing going on?
I think that I was meeting a friend at Skippy's, the bar on Westchester Pike.
Know well about it. Yeah.
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 And this is going back like probably a year. And they told me, "Oh, did you know the parking meter accepts pennies?" And I said,
Just like somebody
"No, I did
randomly,
not."
hey, save yourself 24.
So you're saying
Right.
so you're saying the town that hires lawn mowing goats is mad that pennies go in their parking meters.
There are various towns involved, but yes, Skippy's was where I learned
In
about
25 years, when Skiffies gets internet, they will be so happy at this shout out.
it.
By the way, every Black Friday is not racist. It's actually called Black Friday. It's the day after Thanksgiving. We me and like 30 of my friends do a tour up and down Westchester Pike, going to bars and just going to bars, and
The Irish Riviera.
we call it the Irish Riviera.
Called the
And
family reunion.
We rank the bathrooms,
Mm.
and from nicest to worst. And Skippy's is an 11-time last place finisher
Oh.
to the point where they embrace it.
Wow.
And
They
I
actually
respect that.
go in there instead of with soap
Yeah.
and water. They just pee and shit all over the place.
Yeah, they'll
Right.
literally
Just
just
to-
there. I
yeah.
just shit in the sink just so we come in last.
Oh wait a minute, we have customers coming. Hold on.
Yeah, yeah. They're like customers.
Yeah.
No, I love that place.
Men alive in here.
Men alive. There's men alive. All right. Okay. Here's a deep one. Here's a deep one. You covered Delco steaks and promote them a lot. They made it for your best cheesesteak in the 2021 edition of Best of Philly, and Marple House, the same owners, made it this year for their Sloppy Joe. You wore their attire on Preston and Steve and plugged their mini golf. You are currently wearing a Delco Land hat. You wrote an article on April 20th of this year about their history. There's been accusations in community pages in the restaurant review. Are you paid by them?
Right. So there is one person in particular in the Delco community who has accused me of being PR for them, like actually
Oh
being
wow.
paid. I mean, first of all, let me say absolutely not. It's untrue. I will also say that I've been working at Philadelphia Magazine for 20 years. I have a wife, 2 kids. I am by far the breadwinner of the family. My kids are going to college soon.
Yikes.
And if it came out that I did accept money from Delco Steaks or any Best of Philly winner or anybody that I wrote about in exchange for writing about them or, well, for anything else, I'd probably be fired.
They would fire you over it.
Oh, absolutely.
wow.
Yeah, I'd imagine.
Okay.
I mean, listen, we
It
So
Same
whole
risk
best-
reward. It's not worth it. It's just
Yeah,
you wouldn't jeopardize it.
and I mean, listen, have you guys had Delco Steaks?
Yeah,
I mean,
fine.
it's
Yeah. The Brumont one. I mean,
it's
I
a
had them.
better cheesesteak than most of what you get. You might have a cheesesteak that you like more,
Sure.
but it's not unreasonable to say
Well,
that
I mean,
this
I
is
have
among the best cheesesteaks.
legitimately I have about 7 cheesesteaks that I like more. than
Well,
that.
there you go.
I didn't have a good experience with
Okay,
it, right?
yeah.
So, but
Ridley
my
one, right?
sample size is I don't have like a large sample size, and
Yeah.
sometimes people have bad days.
Yeah, and they're
all
not a bad
Yeah.
cheesesteak at all. And yes, and one thing we've learned from years of doing this is that people have their place that's about 6 feet away from their house, and they'll no matter if you said, "Hey, I went to Delco Steaks and had a good cheesesteak." No. So and so 5 feet up the door for me is much better.
Oh,
So
that's
you
the
get that a lot.
worst.
So people just don't want to leave their territory. But yeah, no, I mean, listen, I'm glad you brought that up. I wanted to hear about that.
So I mean, Delco Steaks. We all know that I think they're genius because they moved into an area that does not have good cheesesteaks anywhere. Saturated, no, Broomall.
Oh,
Broomall.
The
all right.
original
Yeah, the
place.
original Broomall. There's
Yeah.
nowhere. Oh, I mean, Ridley. That was a death sentence to moving in there. I think with Anna's and Mike and Emma's. We love Mike and Emma's here. Have you ever had Mike and Emma's?
I have,
Oh
yeah.
my god, we love them. Okay, so you are not paid by Delco Steaks.
I'm not paid by Delco Steaks, and again, it's just a ludicrous suggestion.
And plus,
It comes up every year when we do Best of
Yeah.
Philly. Either I'm being paid, or the magazine is being paid, or
Is that thrown around a lot? I mean, just in general.
course.
Not to you, but I'm just saying in general.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
you don't need dirty steak money. I mean, you're saving 24 cents on the meters. You're
That's
good,
right,
brother.
I'm
You're
good. I'm drinking, $2.25 Rolling Rocks at Callahan's. I'm good.
There you
Oh,
go.
you are naming all my favorite places.
But getting back to the Best of Philly thing,
Shout out to Gary the bartender.
Gary the
Irish
bartender who
Gary.
also bartends at Busty's
That was-
and who is in Ireland right now with his family.
Yes, he
Wait,
is.
a bartender from Delco goes to Ireland.
He's upset that
Imagine that.
He's
Imagine.
upset he might miss the Eagles game on Sunday.
That's true.
He's nervous of what
I mean,
game they're gonna get in his local pub.
Okay.
But Best of Philly. So, I mean, part of the thing here is that the best of world has been diluted quite a bit, right? Because there's lots of best of shit
Oh my
right now.
goodness, yes.
You may find this hard to believe, but Philly Mag actually was the first publication in the entire country to ever come up with a best of sort of issue.
Okay.
Mind-boggling.
And in
When?
1974, we came out with the best of and worst of Philly.
Ooh.
And every year, since then, we really put a lot of heart and soul into it. This isn't like people voting on shit, where the owner gets to click
Yep.
a lot of times on something to win. This isn't where I wish I could name names, but I can't. There are certain publications that do directly sell advertising based on, well, we'll give you this best of award, our best of award,
Yeah.
if you pay us a
Yeah.
certain amount of money.
Yeah.
We know that for a fact.
In there,
Yeah.
yeah. There's some
Um,
ridiculous numbers.
And so, I
We
think
actually won best of yoga class
Nice.
That's
about
true.
4 years
Delco-
ago.
Delco
Congratulations.
Dogs.
Yeah.
See, we can name names.
Yeah.
So I think
Actually,
you,
it wasn't yoga, it was Zubas.
Oh, Zumba. Yeah,
Or
Zumba.
sorry, Zumba.
Zubas are the parents, dude.
so I think you can look at our best of list, and if your accusation is that people pay to be on there, well, we favor our advertisers. You can look at the list and realize that the vast majority of the winners on there are not advertisers, right?
Mhm.
A lot of them are like little strip mall spots, like we're talking about. They're not paying us to give them best of Philly. And the fact is that we spend the entire year putting that together, talking to our friends, going to places. I mean, I have the receipts to back it up of how many places I tried to eat a cheesesteak before, I give that award, et cetera.
I think it's essentially it's your readers and your followers. If they're reading your stuff and following you, they obviously like you and your opinions. So that's fine. But like, is it people who just come out with like vitriol, just like want to just completely tear into you for this? Is it? I mean, do you get more of that, or do you get more of the hey, the positive, like I'm going to try that, or hey, I love that too? Like, is it more negative or positive?
Yeah, I mean, I think I hear from a lot of people directly about Best of Philly, like, that they picked up a new spot, whatever, because of it. But obviously, the angry people on social media are the loudest ones.
Oh,
I mean, is it like the
Yeah.
Howard? Is it like, I was gonna say, is it like the Howard Stern effect? More people tune in to hate on you or see what
Sure.
you're gonna say next versus people who want to love and and go along with what you're saying?
Of course.
The way we like to just think about like the mass amount of people like support or non-support is, I mean, I don't know if Philly Mag does any events or anything. We like to say, oh, people are hating on them. Like they're not the ones who come out to the events. Like I don't care.
Right.
I'm not going to run into them. They're not supporting me. They're not supporting the community. They're just here to cry about whatever. And I mean, you've seen it. You use the Delco restaurant review. I think you said that on Preston Steve for like a lot of recommendations. We use it. Delco restaurant reviews. Like you can literally be like, oh my God, I had good cheese fries today from Paul Revere in East Lansdowne. And the first 30 comments will be like, well, you didn't go to this place. Well, this place is better. Like, oh, and then someone writes a bad review and goes, I just had bad cheese fries from Paul Revere in Lansdowne. They'll be like, well, why do you sign up to help? In this economy, like, why don't you do better? Like, you should help.
You know what synthetic cheese sauce goes for this day and age, sir?
But meanwhile, us, like, we can't even like.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, we get the opposite effect when we post something. Except
Wuhan cheese.
Yeah. I guess people knew to not fucking comment on that Mike and Emma's post we had because we love them so much.
Yeah.
I'm actually one of the admins of Delco Restaurant Reviews,
Oh,
so
yes.
I see all the posts that don't get
Kara.
approved.
Oh,
before
so
they
you
get
want
deleted.
to see the even darker side of
Oh,
it.
yes.
What's the record for someone being kicked out and let back in?
Oof, I don't know the answer to that
Do you
because
think it's more than 8?
yes, for
I
sure.
have 8, and all of them are for using the C word at people.
Oh, nice.
I've literally only commented on 8, and it was to call. It usually started out civil.
Chesko?
What?
What?
Yeah, Chasco.
Oh,
No,
Ooh, ooh.
oh my God! What?
Things that make me go.
What
Filthy,
did the Lansdowne
filthy.
page say? Oh, the C word was Chick-fil-A.
That's good.
In fact, actually, that is the first time I heard it. Is when Chris Chicken moved in. Lansdowne's very, very. There are certain people who moved here who are very. I don't want to use the word liberal, but like they can be crazy liberal sometimes.
Mhm.
I live there. I have a tattoo on my arm.
I think hyper woke is what you're
Hyper
going
woke
for.
is a great way to put it.
Yeah.
Someone said that the Crispin chicken moved in and they taste like Chick-fil-A, and then someone tried to get the post removed, saying that we don't use the C word here, which was chicken.
Wow.
Because I guess
That's
because
deep.
of their whatever they donate down in Atlanta to different causes. But I'm like, I think that's the C word.
Mm.
The C word's what I get banned from the restaurant review. But no, Carol Lee always lets me back in. I'm harmless.
Somebody's asking, could you let him back in? He's been banned.
No, I love the Delco restaurant review. It's actually one of my favorite places. It's my favorite page besides the Citizens Clifton Heights. Okay. As stated on this actually ties in. As stated on Preston and Steve, you use the community pages in Delco Restaurant Review amongst other social media to get leads on stories. Some have stated that you have not given credit to the original posters for specific articles you've written. Is there any truth to that? And would you ever cite a social media page as a source?
Wow. I haven't heard that criticism before. I certainly would cite a social media page as a source. But also a lot of things that are posted on social media are being talked about by lots of people in various different places. So it's not
Yeah,
as-
they didn't originate. Is
So you're
pretty much what
saying
you're
it's a Wikipedi-
saying.
It's the Wikipedia
Yeah.
effect where it's like, oh, I had to do a report on Somalia, so I go on Wikipedia, then I just find their sources.
I mean, I will say that I do find a lot of stories on social media.
Or the inspiration for stories.
Yeah, the inspiration for
Okay.
stories. But then, I mean, the thing is, a lot of things that are said on social media, they're being said by people on social media. They're not being said by credible media outlets with journalists who've worked there for 20 years.
Right.
So a lot of times what I do in a social media situation is like, I'll look at a controversy that's playing out on social media. And yeah, sure, maybe I heard about it first on, citizens of Clifton Heights.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Yes. Just for example.
As an admin of the Citizens of
Yeah.
Clifton Heights,
Our favorite game is
I've had to go in a corner and shout and like just kind of like rock back and forth from being an admin on that page.
our favorite
Right.
game in that is speaking of like the no topics is how long till it gets racist for no reason on Clifton Heights.
Yeah, and talk about things that how you got to racism.
My dog had puppies, and it's like how long? Be like 8 comments, and like yes,
Right.
3
It's like my
comments in, it'll be like Obama should go back to Africa, and I'm like, what night where it's about puppies?
Yeah.
it's like my penny meter article. How does that go to
Yeah.
racism all of a sudden? But let's steer clear of
Yeah.
that topic. Yeah, you know what? I've
It's
actually
the only
really,
it's the only queen of color. Sorry, the coyotes.
That's true.
It is true.
I really haven't heard that criticism before, and I just think it's ludicrous. Like
But if you say
journalists all
affirmative
over the
action
world are
against medals-
monitoring social media for
This guy
story
hates
ideas.
copper.
Copper.
Meth heads love.
Actually, it's not even copper anymore. It's like zinc or something now. They don't even use copper.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Copper, the guy that hangs out at
No.
Upper Darby
I'm
bars.
talking about like because
He gone, right?
your
He gone.
racism towards
No,
pennies.
Copper's live. Copper's live. Farmer gone. All right, that leads into our final controversy,
Woohoo.
controversy. I believe the article was called "The Defiant One." Towards the beginning,
Defiant Ones, I think. But
towards the beginning of the pandemic, an article was written about a local Upper Darby watering hole that wasn't quite following the governor's shutdown orders. That apparently got you in some hot water with the regulars and the locals. What was the extent of the fallout from that ordeal?
So I want to be clear here that when I wrote the article, I did not name the bar. I did not name the township. I did not name the county at all. The only identifying factor about the bar
Was a picture.
was a photo of a guy. You can't see his face. You can see his beard, and he's sitting at a bar.
Holbrook.
Nobody. What's that?
Holbrook.
No, in this case, it was my friend Travo who asked me to say "Yo, Travo" tonight, like he does every time.
Yo,
Go on,
Travo.
Preston and Steve. And he wants a medium T-shirt if you have one.
Probably.
But besides that point, so I published that. Like again, it was kind of like a light, kind of like slice of life article. I talked to the bartender who happened to be Gary, who you know, and other people
I
there.
think he can get deported for this.
Ah,
Oh no, he paid. He's good now.
and you know, I was very careful because I wasn't trying to identify the bar or get them in trouble. And you know, then Joe Busty shut down the bar shortly thereafter, but also every other bar was shutting down. And the locals who saw the story, they took that to mean that my article got Busty shut down. But again, the only people that knew about that
Or the
that was
degenerates that knew what that
Busty's.
bar looked like.
Yes, exactly. The LCP has no idea, or I should say, the state police, LCE,
Yeah.
Liquor Control Enforcement Police, have no idea what bar that is. And the fallout was that, I mean, I went into Busty's after they reopened once and had to very quickly leave. I'm not really looking to get the shit kicked out of me on Westchester Pike
Yeah.
by like a group of people.
Yeah.
I let some time go by, went in again maybe 3 months later, sort of the same thing happened. Then I let maybe 6 months go by, and I was going to the MMRBQ with a few people from Busty's. I got tickets from MMR, from Preston and Steve actually, and was bringing my friends from Busty's. And I went to meet them there at like noon. And you know, there's these two guys at the bar. This is like now a year after that article was published,
Yeah.
at least. And my friends, who are pretty hardcore and like aren't afraid of a fight, like they looked at me and was like, "Dude, we got to get you out of here like right now."
Wow.
Have you been back in?
Yeah, I have been back in. My understanding is that Joe Busty talked to a couple people and were like, "Yo, dude, he did not get a shutdown." Now, part of the thing confusing this was that some months later, during football season, there were certain rules for the way the bars could be reopened
Sure.
in terms of like how many feet you had to be away from each other or whatever.
Chairs taken out in between, or yeah.
Some reporter from WHYY
Yes, the Asian lady.
went to, was she Asian or Mexican?
She was. I think she was Asian.
Okay.
And everyone did just go, "That's Victor sending someone in here."
Right. So this is a competing publication that I have nothing to do with, a reporter I've never heard of before. And she went to like 6 bars in Upper Darby, I think, including 2 that I've never been to.
Which two?
Well, at that time I had never been to Galway's, and I don't remember the other one.
I'm glad. I'm proud of you. I wouldn't recommend going there.
Yeah, Galway's is kind of interesting.
haven't
I
gone
have
there
been there
since I quit meth.
since. And yeah, the I don't think it was like, I think people, they just don't pay attention to details,
They don't read.
and they're
They
like,
can't read.
"Oh, there's a journalist here she must have been sent by that asshole Victor
Yeah.
who shut our bar down before, even though he didn't shut our
They're
bar
just
down.
imagining you
before.
like sitting on top of a tower.
Yeah.
Go now, shut them down.
Yeah.
Silence them.
Yeah, silence all those drinkers.
He's sitting there with the mayor of Upper Darby with their lawn mowing goats, going like, "Shut them down."
Release the hounds.
Release the goats.
So yeah, that that was again a problem. But I've recently been in there a few times.
The
And
one thing I'm going
I've
to
not
take
had
away
an
from the
issue.
story is that I'm going to go open a bar up in the Westchester Pike in Upper Darby and call it generic Irish name.
there you
Like
go.
that's what I'm going to call the
How
bar.
is Busty's a generic? Irish
Well,
name?
every other
Skippy.
one, go away.
You should feel a little bit
Always
good.
is.
You should feel a little good about that because, man, they think that your word has that much sway to get them all shut down. That's kind of like
Yeah, I
flattering
use
a
that as
little
a selling
bit.
point to when you're supposedly buying free ads for a free cheesesteak here and there.
Oh my God.
That's
Well, it's
funny.
been fun, y'all.
Yeah.
That's
We
fine.
got couple quick ones.
Oh sure.
This
go
is
ahead.
about your worst. Oh,
rapid fire.
Rapid fire.
okay. It's about your worst of Philadelphia list. All right, on Press and Steve, you mentioned one of your categories. You made up the category. Sometimes you can make them up forever.
Yeah,
right? Very interesting one. It's called Misplaced Nostalgia. You had mentioned the Melrose Diner,
yeah, for sure.
which I get. I totally get that. Like everyone thinks it's Melrose
Love it.
Diner. It's a cool place to hang out. And you said, yeah, not for many years. Like, calm yourself.
Yeah,
You-
yeah. I mean, people were crying that it was going to get torn down. It seems like it's not anymore, but it's like its time has come. It's just like many diners, and sorry, I know I'm in Delco.
In your interview, you said
I
the
have to
Lanark
say
Diner.
this: the Lanark fucking sucks. 20 years ago, the Lanark was solid. The Lanark sucks.
Well, I literally was.
I hope they're not your sponsor.
I was grabbing my pitchfork.
So this
and
brought to
rallying
you
up-
by the Lanark Diner.
When you said that, I was grabbing my pitchfork and rallying up Busty's regulars, and then I realized, wait, no, he's actually right. Like Lanark has not been good in like
No,
20 years,
it hasn't.
and now it's a chore to get.
They're
rid of
literally
it.
they're
Like,
the
it's like,
Cadillac. They're the Cadillac of diners. They used to be good back in the day, but they're living off their name now because of Silver Linings
Yeah,
Playbook.
Totally.
yeah, which I
Absolutely.
totally understand the whole concept of misplaced nostalgia. I like that phrasing and everything. Another one you said was you stated Wawa soft pretzels are the worst Wawa snack. I hadn't had one in a while, shockingly, even though I'm fat. So I went and got one, and you were right. I was literally shit hammered, and they have gotten significantly worse
Yeah.
over the last year.
Well, they're the same
Time
ones
of
you didn't
day.
eat 20 years ago.
What time of day you guys getting?
I was shit hammered, but at the same time, I think on Press and Steve, you said you actually called Wawa and like got some people to talk to like lab people and like higher ups. They did actually make them worse, right?
Well, so they claim they haven't changed them in the last 2 years, but I swear to God, they're definitely different.
They are.
I don't know, but that's their official word. I call them for worst affiliate because we call people for comment. That's what we do. And
Is it a strategic thing? Like we make this really bad, so they don't buy this, but buy the more expensive stuff.
yeah, who knows? Who knows?
I mean, they're at the checkouts. So it's like you're gonna buy it or you're not.
Right.
What is your favorite Wawa's?
My favorite Wawa snack. My favorite Wawa food is generally, well, it depends on what time of day.
Okay.
So the meatballs have also gone downhill, but I could imagine a world where after I leave you guys and I go to the next meeting that I have for work, that I Uber Eats a Wawa meatball
Little
parm
classic,
sandwich,
yeah.
even though it sucks. But I'll only do a shorty.
Okay.
I
Such
recently,
self-control.
so my daughter likes the chicken salad, which I don't mind.
I had the chicken salad for lunch. I
Chicken
love
salad's
it.
Yeah,
good.
Yeah.
Chicken salad
I love
is one of the few
Not
go-tos.
sounds
loved,
good.
but I liked it.
And I like all their new tacos.
I like the meatballs.
By the way,
I haven't
okay.
tried the tacos.
Tacos.
It's actually
I had a colleague try them, and she
actually
said
not
that the soft pretzels were worse.
The,
so.
the tacos are like uncomfortably okay for Wawa.
Yeah.
You're just like, oh, these shouldn't be like this all right.
Do you
Like,
remember when they had a partnership with Taco Bell?
Yeah.
I
back in
do.
the day?
I
Yeah.
do. I
Essington, the one down in
Yeah.
Essington was huge.
Another one you
Taco Bell
had
pizza.
was we actually did a whole episode about this where we paired them as if they were Delco flavors instead of Philly flavors. Your worst Hearst Philly flavor. You picked the 215 sauce.
The 215 sauce. Actually, that was I gave that one to my food editor, new food editor, Hannah. So she gave that worst of Philly.
We have
Um,
the opposite opinion. We thought it was the best of the three.
Well, you guys are a bunch of unschooled assholes.
Yeah.
So
Well,
what
here's-
you guys-
Swine.
But here's my
swine, man.
here's
He
my
got us
question.
pegged a big time.
Here's my
Did you say
question.
peg? We still haven't talked about my drag photos. Speaking of pegging.
Is your
Bring it back.
is your ill will against them for the same that I like challenge like the credibility for it? So they're the whole back of it has the explanation,
Yeah.
and it's they say it's I always grew up calling it SPKM, working in pizza shops. The Philly flavor was salt, pepper, ketchup, mayo. You're not gonna make a chip that says that they have a flavor of mayo. So they chose hot sauce. That's
Yeah.
why I said, well, this is kind of a lie, but it was decent.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of
Uh,
any of them myself.
I think the
but-
long
No.
hot sharp provolone could have been the best, but they failed at launching it. That's
They-
like.
Ah.
I think those flavors to get on the chip are the easiest, and or not even the easiest, but like could make a really good chip, but they dropped the ball.
You said that the worst thing about SEPTA was the SEPTA K. Have you ever heard of heroin needles?
I'll leave that for Steve Keeley on Fox 29.
Yeah, right.
He talks
Oh, yeah,
about
you're
the
saying that
septum needles
he
every
was-
day.
Well, they're there.
Yeah.
And a fun one. You said, or not fun, but it's definitely something that's called my peak. Is coming out of the Upper Darby area, Westchester Pike, and going to the Man Center a lot recently. See some concerts. Worst deforestation is Cobb's Creek. I never even knew there was fucking skylines behind it.
It's
They literally
amazing.
ripped down all the trees and they're all just sitting there dying in the middle of the old golf course.
Yeah, it's amazing driving through that area and all of a sudden you can see.
Like the
The
back of
skyline.
Busty's.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Yeah.
wow. Yeah,
But I'm
no,
not a fan, whatever. I don't think we need another golf course. I mean, I know there was one there before
yeah,
and they're trying to improve it.
to get like a
I don't
major
know.
tour or whatever.
I don't know.
But yeah,
We appreciate
that was
having you
awesome.
on tonight.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks,
About all
Victor.
this,
Yeah, real
Appreciate it.
quick, before we go, I want to. This just came to me right before we went on the air.
Oh,
My sister sent it to me. It's been going around. Guy's name is Tyler Myers. And my sister's her son. Guy is from Delco. I don't think he lives in the area anymore. He's actually from Clifton Heights. And he needs a kidney. And they're there's like a 1 in a million chance. They figured they sent it around.
Oh, wow.
They can find a donor. And I'm going to put on the post after the show. I'll put up something with the link so you can help out. But if you can, call 1-888-855-6649. And you can fill out a form on this link. See if you can be a possible donor if you want to help out. And see what you can do to help out this Delconian in their time of need.
1 in a million shot, Al. I've seen
That's what we do best.
Al, I've seen a 4-string running back take a snap, hand off to a 3rd-string tight end, and throw to a backup quarterback and win the Super Bowl.
That's right.
Hallelujah.
Yeah.
Hallelujah. So, guys, Victor, thank you for joining us. You can follow.
thanks,
You can
Victor.
find him on social media. You want to tell everybody where they can find you, real quick,
Nah, that's okay.
There's already enough people
They
there.
can Google my name.
as well as Philadelphia Magazine is where you'll find all his great articles. Check us out at DelcoLive.com and all the social media, as we mentioned earlier. Big old thanks to Dolan's Bar, 24 Sellers Avenue. Don't forget Fat Cow Jerky at fatcowjerky.com. And David R. Cherry at cherryinjurylaw.com.
Fuck John Morgan.
Yeah, fuck John Morgan.
John Morgan.
Guys, we are out of here.
Excellent.